Hey, I wanted to pose the question to those of you out there: are you taking the recession seriously? And are those of you that don't consider it a serious issue, I'd love to hear from you. And I'll talk about how I am, and I've been through a recession before. Actually, I mean, people like to call this 2008, 2009 recession, which it was a tough time, believe me. And the precautions that I took actually helped me survive that pretty handily. I had gotten a variable rate loan. I just borrowed $3 million, and thank God I got a variable rate, because I think I got it about 5.5, and then almost immediately it dropped to being a 2.5 because the interest rates went down. Now we don't have that situation currently because the interest rates are going up, and of course the inflation's been so terrible it's put a lot of people in a bind. But the people that are really the smartest people, and I consider myself one of them as far as being a fast study and learner, and that's really what all of you should aspire to be, especially you young guys. Try to learn from other people's mistakes. Find people you trust that have credibility, and try to learn. Listen to what they say. And believe me, just because you have gray hair doesn't make you wise. Just because you have gray hair doesn't make you a nice, honest old man. Don't be fooled by that bullshit ever. But I'll just talk about some of the things I'm doing. I've suffered downturns before. I started in a recession. I was optimistic when I shouldn't have been. I extrapolated some success to thinking I'd be better at others. These are mistakes, and what I can tell you is we're definitely, I'm looking at more of the indicators. You can tell business is concerned. A lot of inventory came in. It's just now coming in from, you've heard all about all the shipping shortages. And, if you looked at, they have a shipping map, you can see there was just thousands of ships at sea, and some sitting off the harbor waiting to be unpacked, waiting for their turn to come up. And, factories all over our country had assembly lines, people ready to go, ready to assemble. But they had the orders, they even had the back orders, but they didn't have the part. They didn't have the microchip within the product they were making. And so, you got all these people ready to just assemble and put stuff in a package and ship it, and they can't, because they can't make it complete. And so a lot of those people, now that stuff has arrived, and the products are put together, and now the business is drying up. Many companies have seen, it's not obvious that they have lost business, in as much as maybe their numbers are the same, but what's not the same is their prices are 30% higher than last year. So technically they've done 70% of what they did last year in sales. I mean, the numbers are the same, only because they raised the prices. They had to, but that still doesn't mean that they if they lost 30% of their business, they may very well need to, lose 20 or 30% of their workforce. And we're starting to see more of that. But if you can look around and you can observe other people's issues and problems, big companies, especially, within your own area, primarily your economy is just the area that you live in. I've talked about my real estate barbells, how I make, I buy up quite a bit of property in and around my home. And then wherever my office is, I buy up quite a bit of property in and around my office or my building, or whatever company I have going. And then in between, I buy what's up in between, and it ends up resembling a barbell. One thing, I always felt fairly bulletproof. I'd always try to buy Amazon-proof companies, or businesses, I should say. Those are my tenant base. My tenant base would be companies that wouldn't be wiped out by Amazon. Now, why is that? Because I've had a company that I've seen Amazon damage us terribly. We had tremendous sales, number one seller on their site for that category of product, and then we're back ordered. Then we load up, get a bunch of inventory, kind of like a lot of people are doing right now, and then they pull out a competing product. They start not ordering. They don't have our stuff in stock, so they can tell people, oh, that's not in stock. But other customers choose X, and then they present next to my property and or my item for sale, and then they end up swaying everybody. You know, they call that the bait and switch. With my product, sell them somebody else's, and then they come back and beat up at me and say, hey, you know, that's it. We're gonna, you know, push business elsewhere unless you lower your price. And so then you're faced with tough stuff. Nobody wants to work for free, and that's what you really got to be careful with. You're going to be going into a much tougher, more competitive economy. You know, people, and this goes for everything. You know, real estate, the prices have, you know, continued to go up for a long time. I think they've kind of plateaued now that the interest rate has been risen twice in, you know, about a month and a half's time, and probably go up again here in about 3 weeks. It makes the money more expensive, and we're seeing it in like CoStar and LoopNet and Crexy. I'm seeing these sources, and even Zillow and I think Open Door. You're seeing the prices starting to go down, and the reason they have to do it is because the money is more expensive to borrow. People don't qualify for the same amounts as they did just because of a simple, you know, movement in the interest rate becoming more expensive. But anyways, if you just got here, I've been buying and selling real estate for 40 years. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll always share with you honestly what's going on in my portfolio and some of the mistakes I've seen. So, nobody's up today. What's up? Anybody got any similar concerns? Anybody taking any precautions, or what? You know, what concerns you the most? You know, I've seen gas actually started to drop again a little bit more significantly here lately. Not that that adds, you know, a great deal of hope, anything, but the bottom line is the indicators that concern me most are the jobs and the sales. Companies aren't having the sales. You can see there's a lack of confidence in the market, and understandably so. You know, we don't have the best leadership in place, and you know, and many people don't even think that the leader is our leader. You know, he turns around, he's lost. You know, he's like, hey, where is everybody? And so it causes a lot of people concern, and then the inability to remedy it. You know, for a long time is also a big concern. But what I can say about myself, the actions that I've been taking, is I'm fixing up what I got. I'm taking care of what I have. You know, I turned at least one line of credit I turned into a term loan to save money because I like the assets that are associated with that debt. Hey, Cliff, good morning. Yep. You know, so by bringing your bringing your debt, just bringing the cost to carry your debt down, just as common sense. You know, it's like getting ready for a storm. You know, people board up the windows and, you know, and leave town, and it's just a simple survival tactic. And now, do you feel foolish that you boarded up your windows? You know, if the storm is not so severe, no, you shouldn't. You know, you should be concentrating on how fast you got ready for the storm, how fast you got boarded up. And because let me tell you, it is very satisfying when you dress for the crash, as I call it, dressing for the crash. I kind of relate it to motocross. You know, getting ready to go ride on your dirt bike. You know, you got your steel-toe shoes, you got, you know, boots that go up to your knees, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, it's a little bit hot, especially out in the desert. But you're protected if you have the crash. If you have the crash, you just stand up and you dust off, get back on your bike. But if you didn't have that protection, you may be busted all to pieces. You may be laying there gasping for air. And that's the difference of people that dress for the crash and those that don't. If you do, then you just stand a higher, much greater chance of survival. Obviously, if things get tough. You know, some people have deeper pockets than others. Some people follow the leads of other people. But by misinterpreting their reputation or whatever their mode of success is, And that's a huge mistake. By the way, in the mentorship, I made an offer the other day, money back guarantee. I don't think anybody's ever done that for any course or mentorship, but that is extended. And you can go to FlipAnythingUSA.com and take a look at that. And thank you to all those that have already signed up. And as predicted, the people that got in, they're already elated immediately, which is the whole reason I made that offer. Is I'm not worried about you getting a lot of value for the dollar. And but if you don't have any money, folks, it's not something that we'll borrow money and get into. You need to have, you got to dress for the crash. You got to have some cash on hand. Take care of yourself. And here's the other thing: pulling back spending. Listen, I can have any car that I want, and I don't even love cars particularly that much. I mean, I love my Porsche that I have. It's one of the best ones I've ever had. I've had a lot of cars, Mercedes, all kinds of stuff. And I know all that stuff is going to start dropping. I'm already starting to see weakness. They had 63% of the contracts that people went into fell out, and it was about 14% the month before. And I'm talking about real estate now. That's confidence. That's people bailing out. They're getting scared, and they should be. And really, you might be one of those people that ought to bail out of whatever you're going into. But what's nice about that as an investor is it sends a signal to the people that do have property for sale that think they can keep adding, they can keep pumping up the price regardless of the fact that interest is wiping out the profits on their property. Regardless that, it's getting tougher for businesses to survive. They shouldn't have the confidence that they have. And I talked to somebody the other day, and we were talking a little bit about the market, and I could already tell this guy's misguided. He was already talking about, we just pay cash for everything anyways. And, well, what's that got to do with the return on investment? You still want a good return. I mean, it's safe in as much as you pay all cash for a property, and it truly is extra cash, then it can sit there. The only thing that's going to eat you is taxes on that property, assuming, it doesn't cover the taxes if it was land or something. But and then, and they're getting into some ETFs and things, which is highly risky. And there are some people that are excellent at that. There's guys that have private jets, 2 pilots that are flying them all over the country. They can do that. They also have an inside track with the politicians, by the way. Today is a non-alcoholic drink, somebody wrote. Today is like a non-alcoholic drink. A non-recession recession. Where is the recession? He's asking, I guess, for half of next year. No, it's here, dude. You just haven't hit it yet. That's the problem. It kind of reminds me of that thing. There's a saying, I don't remember, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's when you don't worry about things unless they're coming for you. You see them coming for other people, and this could be, whatever. This could be anything. It could be an enemy of some sort. It could be tyranny from the government. It could be a lot of things. But you don't worry about this other group of people that are being attacked or that are being affected until it's you. And then guess what? Since you didn't act to protect them, then when it comes down to coming on you, nobody cares about you either. And so it's this apathy. There's this apathy in the country already, and it's a shame. And then we got horrible politicians that exploit people's plight for political gain. It's like even this thing, the anti-recession. I think it's called the anti-recession bill. You can't spend your way out of a recession. And so much of the money that they're talking about spending has nothing to do with curbing anything. The best thing they could do is sit on their hands and do nothing. I mean, I would just challenge anybody to tell me when the government steps in, how it has helped the masses. It never does. It's always. This is how they derive their power, is handing out our money. Sandy wrote, I don't see it. I look other people with low income that should be feeling it, but I don't see it anywhere in Miami. Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So Miami, the rents haven't gone up. Rent hasn't gone up over there. Gas didn't go up in Miami. Travel hasn't gone down. I was in Miami not too long ago. Cliff, he goes, that is not a recession, that is a market shift. Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'll argue with you there. We already have, it's already been a qualified recession just by the government standard, by just a shrink in, the domestic products sales. And this is actually a good example. So you haven't been affected, and maybe in your mind that the immediate area around you in Miami hasn't been affected, and so you're unconcerned, but you're not looking because you don't see it. You said you don't see it, and listen, I do believe that most of your area is going to be what you're surrounded by, but you're also surrounded by 50 states, and so you can't ignore the fact that interest rates have gone up. And I've actually been looking at property in your area, all around Clearwater, Largo, and that whole area that they consider the Tampa Bay area, which I guess technically you're not in the Tampa Bay area, but still it's a piece of Florida that I'm interested in. And it's just math. It's just simple math. Right now, let me see, Santee. In Santee, right now for you, how are you not affected by the interest rates going up? Can you buy property for 1.5% less than you can today, as opposed to last month? I mean, are you still paying? Did the Fed not raise the interest rate on the banks around you? See, these are the kinds of things that maybe you're not even a real estate investor, but if you were, you would be paying careful attention to how you'll be affected. Like I say, I see these guys buying funds, or buying into funds, and they're kind of falling into a trap. There's one fund in particular by a young guy. He has gone in and bought a building, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. He can't pull experience out of your ass. But so now they bought a building, or he got his followers to help go in on this thing, and I said I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't pay half of what they're claiming that they paid for it, what it's worth. But and they've got a handful of people, and I noticed pretty quickly they started adjusting the way they're marketing it, and now kind of saying this is a long-term deal. And so the problem is, you go into a building that needs extensive rehab, and since you've gone into that building, the crime rate's gone up in the area. It costs more money. So if you're going to sell it, somebody else is going to have to pay more per dollar to buy the place from you. And like I say, just the fact that it costs so much more to fix up your building. So they're getting hit with like a triple whammy over there. And again, it's going to, like I say, you can't just will things to sale. I mean, people are sophisticated buyers in that class of property. Let's see. Trust me, Miami is affected, and Miami is going to pop. This is someone that lives in Miami that has a completely different position than you on this, Santee, and that's okay. I don't. What do you do, Santee, that you're not affected at all? And I understand you want it to crash, and listen, there's money can be made off of crashes. I agree with you on that, Santee. But so costs are high, but there is work. No one is scared. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. It is possible we are on the eye of the hurricane, and that is why I say maybe next year, half of the year we will feel it. So that's an interesting analogy. So you've already feel like the first half of the hurricane blew by, and now you're sitting in the eye of it. Was the first half COVID? I mean, what was it? Oh, Shane says, I only wish I'd come across your content 10 years ago. Thanks, I appreciate that. Actually, I hadn't even been on YouTube that long, but I appreciate that. Just look at some of the listings in Miami's. Some of them with 5 to 6 price cuts. Yeah, these are the indicators you don't want to ignore. Is as asking price goes down, it listen, you can follow it like this, I'll bet. If this is the rate, this is the value starting, the asking price going down, the opposite that probably mirrors it is the interest rate going up. Take a look at an interest rate scale going up, and then do a research on, get a graph on values or asking prices, and I think you'll pretty much see it's just like that. One is going up, the other one's going down. They mirror each other. And like I say, I'm glad you brought this up, Sandy. It's okay. So, bro, Santi says, I guess he's responding to Cliff. Bro, if you live here, you know things were leveling out in 2018, just before the Fed crash rates. So this grow of 40% is not real. Yeah, I don't think anybody ignores that. But I guess, Sandy, what I'm going at is, I don't quite understand your confidence that there's no recession, and I don't want to misspeak and put words in your mouth, but that's what I come away with, is that you said that you're not really feeling the recession. And so Sandy says, what difference does it make if your house value is 500K, you were selling for 900K, and you lowered 100K? Oh, okay, so here's the difference, Sandy. You can buy a 900K house 6 months ago, and it probably costed about like buying a 600K house. Well, now today, that 900K house, it compared to when you bought it, now it's like buying a house for $1.2 million. You understand? In other words, the money isn't cheaper. It costs you more to borrow the money to buy the same thing. That's what's killing you. This is where you start to feel it. You're looking at old data. You're looking at data that's probably a month and a half. You're thinking, oh, gee, my house is worth $900,000, or some house is worth $900,000, and you're not looking at it like today. Go look at what's sold for $900,000. Probably not much is sold, or it's been price reduced, or it was already sold a month and a half ago, and they had their loan numbers locked in at the lower rate. You got to remember, things don't happen like that. It's not like that. Even though the interest rate changed like that, there's still all kinds of people that had initiated deals, gone into deals. They have their interest rate locked in, and they're safe. They're getting the low rate that they wanted. The trap is this: if they bought it with the intention of flipping, now that's where it changes, because the people that they're going to sell it to, they're not pre-qualified for a loan from 3 months ago. They have to start from today, and now that money's much more expensive. It's a fact. But it'll be interesting. Keep us posted with what's going on there. I like it. New follower here. When do you predict bottom dollar prices on homes? Well, that's a good question. No, for sure. Government's probably the most destructive force we have in the country. That's one of the reasons we have all the problems we have right now, is instead of just helping the people that didn't have a job that needed help, they gave everybody help. They gave everybody a check, regardless whether they were working or not. This disincentivized work. People, took advantage of all the different programs that were out there to get paid to stay home, and they were all about pushing, the shot. I'm not going to call it a vaccination, because it's not a vaccination. It doesn't vaccinate you from anything. In fact, there's tests that show you're 7 times more likely to get a recurrence of COVID if you've had the shot, as opposed to if you just had the immunity itself of getting the disease. Even measles immunities. You get a measles immunity. If you get measles before you got a measles vaccination, you're immune. That immunity, is better than the shot. And they didn't push you to get the shot if you'd already have it. They'd say, oh, if you already had it, you don't need the shot. That's not. You got to remember, everything's politicized. There's fortunes to be made. Just consider that the government can, they know. Hey, I got an idea. Let's all buy in. I mean, it's not this blatant, but this is what's going through the back of their mind. Hey, let's go ahead and buy in to one of the 3 companies, or all of the 3 companies that are capable of making the shot, that are getting the contracts to make the shot, let's buy up their stock, and then let's just shove it down the American people's throat. And then the taxpayers will pay for it. They can pay 10 times what a shot is worth or costs, and all that profit will go to the company, and that we're a shareholders in. It's a quick and easy way to get rich, and it's nothing new. This kind of corruption's been going on for years. They call it legal inside trading. What do you think about the new Inflation Reduction Bill? It's a joke. Listen, anytime the government, what is the government? Just ask yourself this. We have done nothing but gone down the tubes for 40 years, and we have so many politicians that have been here for the whole ride down. They're responsible for it. Why would you trust anybody at the helm of a sinking ship that's been sinking the ship for 40 years? And I'm talking about McConnell, Pelosi, Schumer, all these dinosaurs that have just been riding a sinking ship. And while they've been riding and directing the sinking ship, they've been making millions and millions of dollars on the side with inside trading. I'm getting way off topic here, but understand that what I'm trying to tell Cliff is that there is not a crash yet. It is here when we get to 10. No, I'm sorry. This is when we get to 10% from 2018. Not yesterday. Yeah, Santi, I don't know how old you are and how much stuff you've seen over, your lifetime, but I can tell you, I totally disagree with you. You could just come back and report to us. But he says, yeah, but what do you think about the hiding Trojan of army against the medium class? Oh yeah, listen. Whenever, it's just the mindset of most of the government that's in place, and I'm talking about locally and everything else. It's always these sound bites. The anti-recession bill. Oh well, who's not going to vote for that? Let's vote for the anti-war bill. Okay, so you vote for the anti-recession bill, and you find out that 80% of the money is going to subsidize electric cars and shove, or create, or hire 87,000 IRS agents. It doesn't produce a thing, doesn't produce any money. In fact, if you even do the money on it, the math on that, we did this the other day live, I think it comes out about one IRS agent to every 1,700 people that make over $400,000, which I think will be the target. And, and so that's the other thing. You better keep your books really clean. Listen, I that's one thing, I've been through audits. And, you always, what you want is a no change letter. And the way you get there is you just keep great records. It's just black and white. So, those of you that are careless with your records, man, hang on to everything. Hang on to your receipts, because, they are going to be coming after. The IRS doesn't knock on your door to say, hey, we want to make sure you didn't overpay. No, they're there to collect money. And it's your job to show them that I do everything perfectly, and no problem. Okay. Hey, good morning, Michael. Hey, Michael, how you doing with that property downtown with your buddies, your partners on that? How's that thing going? Any sign you're going to get rid of that thing? Michael's in the mentorship, by the way. Hey, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this topic or enjoy the subject matter. And if you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. If you don't like it, I think you can send it back for a refund. No, it's only like $10 on Kindle, and it's $20 in paperback. And no pressure. If you also get a chance, go to FlipAnythingUSA.com and take a look at the membership. In fact, I have just so you guys know, I have a money back satisfaction guarantee. It's still Saturday, so you can jump into the class, dive in, and if you don't like what you see, you can bail out. You got 72 hours to change your mind. Nobody has yet, and I appreciate those of you that took up the offer. I think you're going to be, it's going to do nicely for you. Michael says, I'm hearing we are close to selling to a big buy. Oh, good. Well, you know what? A lot of people don't realize we've already had, some huge stimulus bills. I call them stimulus. That's probably not even fair to say. But we've already passed a few, like omnibus bills just in the last couple of years. People have a short memory in politics, and those alone are going to cram so much government make work down our throats. And they're just destroying the AC business. There's AC businesses that can no longer keep their warranties because of the stuff that's imposed by the government. Like they want a lifetime warranty to be transferable. Well, who can afford to buy an air conditioner that has an infinite warranty? In other words, not just the lifetime of me, but to whoever I sell it to and whoever they sell it to. I mean, that's government intervention. That's government help. Let's make it so this company, in other words, they kind of ruined it. Now there is no lifetime warranty. Now it's turned into a 10-year warranty. So where I could have had a lifetime warranty for the whole time that I own this property that I bought an air conditioner for, now it's void as soon as I resell the property, even if I sell it after 5 years. That's government intervention. They just ruined a beautiful, a lifetime warranty, which just means the lifetime of whoever they sold it to. And so that could be 5 years, by 20 years. Well, the government intervention, they've made it impossible to honor a very good warranty, because now they can't say lifetime. Because if they say lifetime, they want it to be forever. The lifetime of anybody that ever owns that property. Totally impractical, totally stupid. But that's the things that you can't forecast, how government intervenes and they destroy, they destroy it for everybody. It just ruins it for everybody. Let's see what else we got here. So let's see, but that's why I need to control my assets like you talk about. Yeah, Michael, like say the best thing you can do is take care of what you got. Right now, I mean, get rid of the stuff that you can't handle. You got to look at worst case scenarios. If, let's say it could be, if I lost my job, with me, I would look at, if I lost half of my tenants, half of them, can I survive on the rents with a 50% of the income that I have coming in today? I can. So I feel pretty safe. But that's my criteria for safety. And when I was younger, it wasn't that. I'd buy stuff and I'd just leverage the hell out of it, because I felt good. But I always watched the market. And so, and when I saw a sign of trouble, you guys know my chapter on leapfrogging, I jumped to leapfrogging, which is probably what a lot of people should do right now if they're in that same situation. Sandy wrote, unfortunately, when government touches something, it goes to crap. And seems slowly. Yep, I agree with you on that, Sandy, for sure. And I appreciate your comment. And I appreciate you coming in here, Sharon. Hey, it's a half hour. I've got a lot of different contractors showing up at several different properties today. We're going to be painting, retexturing, re-roofing, some AC repair. If you guys want, maybe I'll go live for some of that later today. Although I got to say the live reception has not been optimum. Otherwise, I'd be doing more lives. I got it good here because we're on Wi-Fi. So anyways, if you just got here, please like and subscribe, and come back and go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. Check out my book. Check out the mentorship. Mentorship, like I say, I don't know anybody that has as many testimonials as I have, and which is one of the reasons I'm so confident to offer a satisfaction guarantee. Anyways, please check it out, and we'll see y'all later, and talk to you soon.